The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar on the Farmers Market Legal Toolkit. We are going to get started right away because this is a half-hour webinar from 12 to 12:30 Eastern Time. So first of all, thank you for joining. We're really excited to have all of you here today. A few housekeeping items. You'll all be muted throughout the webinar. You can type questions at any time in the question box on the right side of your screen. And just to let you know, we will be answering some questions at the end, but we will not be able to provide legal advice. We will just be answering what questions we can and help you understand how to use the toolkit. And one last housekeeping thing, if you're having trouble with parts of our website, we've heard that certain web browsers work better than others. So if you're in Safari and encounter an issue, try a different browser such as Chrome. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the Farmers Market Legal Toolkit, which is a project of the Center for Agriculture and Food Systems at Vermont Law School in partnership with the Northeast Organic Farming Association of Vermont and the Farmers Market Coalition. And today we're going to have folks from the Farmers Market Coalition talk a little bit about what they do. Unfortunately, we don't have our NOFA Vermont partner, Aaron Buckwalter, so you won't hear as much about them, but it's been a project that has been the success of these three organizations working together. And it's been funded by the National Institute of Food and Agriculture. In a quick overview, we're first going to give some background on the organizations here, and then we're going to give a brief overview of the website to kind of, help everybody understand the general layout. And then we are going to go into the 5 most common questions that we've heard from farmers markets and show you how to find answers to those questions or learn more about how you can answer them for yourselves using our website. So the Center for Ag and Food Systems at Vermont Law School is dedicated to creating food systems that are more sustainable, just, and humane. And we do this by training sustainable food and ag law and policy leaders, developing innovative legal and policy tools, and generating creative ideas to support progress and inspire change. And my name is Lilani Nelson. I'm the Assistant Director here at CAFS. And with me is Emily Spiegel, who's an assistant professor, and will be leading us through the 5 questions later in the webinar. And one thing to note is that we have had students in our food and ag clinic here at Vermont Law School work on this Farmers Market Legal Toolkit project, which was a 4-year project. So we had a lot of student involvement, which was a great experience for them to be involved with. All right, and now I'm going to hand it off to Jen, who is going to talk a little bit more about the Farmers Market Coalition.
Thanks, Lilani. Lilani, I'm actually not able to see your screen. Have you shared your screen? Do other people see it?
Oh, that's interesting. We're seeing that people are leaving those comments. Let me try to figure out what's happening here with our technology. Can you see it now?
There it is, yes.
Wow. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to go back really quickly. That was the slide that I talked about for the Center for Ag and Food Systems. And this was the first slide that we had up there. My apologies for that not being visible to everyone. All right, so that was the Center for Ag and Food Systems. And now we are going to hand it over to Jen at the Farmers Market Coalition.
Great, thank you. So I'm Jen Cheek, Director of the Farmers Market Coalition. For those of you who don't know us, the Farmers Market Coalition is a national nonprofit representing farmers markets. Our mission is to strengthen farmers markets for the benefit of farmers, consumers, and communities. And we do that by offering educational resources, wonderful programs, networking opportunity for market managers and vendors, and also providing advocacy so that the voices of market managers and vendors can be heard at state and federal levels of legislation. And we also have on the line today with me Darlene Wolnick, who has been instrumental in building out, working with the Vermont Law School to build out these resources. So next slide. If you go to our website at farmersmarketcoalition.org, you'll see under the resources section some of what we have available. We have a great market manager frequently asked questions section. We have a resource library, which is what you see here on the screen, where you can both submit your own resources. So if you have great market policies or great promotional materials or bylaws, anything, any sort of document that having to do with your market, you can submit it here so that other market managers can see your great work and benefit from your lessons learned. And also you can search by subject or put anything you'd like in the search box to view other markets' resources. So it's a wonderful tool. I encourage you to check it out. We also offer webinars. We have a snap guide for farmers markets, funding opportunities guide. We also offer a weekly newsletter for our members and a monthly newsletter for non-members. And this year we added, unfortunately, there was a need for disaster resources for markets and farmers. So you'll see that there isn't in this list currently a lot of legal resources for farmers markets. We definitely receive a lot of questions from markets across the country, wondering about insurance, wondering how they can manage their risk, wondering, do they need a lawyer for certain things, or getting into a little bit of trouble with and needing some assistance. So we were very excited to work with the Vermont Law School because it was a definite need out there for market managers to have somewhere to turn to answer some basic questions about how to best run their markets, and when something goes wrong, what to do. So we're really excited to offer this new tool with them. Next slide. And soon we'll have a link up there to the toolkit as well. There's already some posts about it. So you can access the legal toolkit through our website as well. In terms of advocacy, you can see here on your screen some of the programs that we spend a lot of time working to make sure legislators on the Hill know about these programs. They know how wonderful they are and what a big impact they have on not only farmers markets at the organizational level, but also on the farmers that they're serving, and making sure that they understand that markets are more than just a fun cultural thing to do on a Saturday afternoon, but they're actually having real economic impacts on local farmers across the country. So you can also check out our advocacy section for information on all of these policies and programs. We have a section on Voices from the Field, which is wonderful profiles of market managers and businesses who work with markets from across the country. And we also just had a very successful farmer fly-in where we had 15 meetings with legislators, with market managers and farmers from across the country. It was fabulous. They were able to speak directly to their legislators and make sure they knew about their own concerns. So do check out the advocacy section of our website at farmersmarketcoalition.org. And next slide. So we also offer programs, and you can see here there's this great picture of kids participating in our Power of Produce program, which is called Pop Club. And these are resources available to FMC members to run similar children's programming, to both encourage people to come to the market and to really educate kids and their parents on healthy eating and how to shop at the farmer's market and make sure that they have a really wonderful time while they're there. We also have materials to help you run a wonderful National Farmers Market Week, which happens the first full week of August each year and helps market managers really promote the wonderful work you're doing on the ground. We have a poster contest, which will be available in the spring, where you get to see everyone's amazing posters from different states and get some great inspiration for your own poster, but also have the chance to win some cash prizes from FMC for really innovative, cool designs. We have offered an EBT equipment program in the past, which provides equipment and 3 years of service so that you can accept SNAP at your market or your farm. That program isn't active right now, but the USDA FNS is planning to reopen it very soon. And I also wanted to mention Farmers Market Metrics. Next slide. One of the big issues that market managers have these days is telling the story of the market and speaking to the wonderful impact that it's having in various ways, whether it's economic impact, social, health, ecological. So we created tools within Farmers Market Coalition that we call Farmers Market Metrics, which allow you to decide which data is most relevant for your market to collect. We provide a platform for you to enter that data, and then it automatically analyzes and generates some great promotional tools so that you can be sure to share that information widely so that your customers and your stakeholders and your funders all know exactly how much wonderful work you're doing. So that's just a little bit about FMC. We're going to turn it back over to the Vermont Law School team to walk through legal resources. And again, we'll have a link from our website, and you can go directly to their website to see these resources. And it's been wonderful working with them to make sure that they're actually reflective of the questions that market managers have. So we're eager to hear your feedback and see how you like it.
Thanks, Jen. That was awesome. So now we're going to bring you all to our website. So here is the Farmers Market Legal Toolkit website, which is farmersmarketlegaltoolkit.org. And we just want to give you a little overview before showing you how to answer some questions. So first, the website is divided into 3 main sections. One is about picking a business structure. One is about implementing SNAP EBT. And one is about managing your risks. So those are the big main sections of the site. And in addition to those sections, we have some case studies that highlight some of these issues and how real farmers markets have handled them. And you can learn a little bit more about those by using the top level menus. You can click to the case study section and read the case studies from there. And you also can see what is part of each of the main big 3 sections by looking at the drop-down menus. And you might see exactly what you're looking for in these lists here. But if you don't see what you're looking for, you can always use the search tool if you click on the magnifying glass and type in whatever it is that you're interested in learning more about. All right, so at this point, I'm going to hand it off to Emily, who's going to walk through the 5 most common questions that we've heard.
Thanks, Leilani. So these are questions that have come to us and to our partner organizations just kind of over the past few years that we've done this project. So we thought it might be helpful to just walk through where you would find some of this information in the toolkit. We know it's a big site, and we'd like to kind of help you drill down into some of that information. So question number 1, what's the best business structure for my market? Yeah, that's an important one, and it's one that every market faces. So I'm going to go back to the home page and start from there. And the nice thing about this question is it has a really obvious place to start. So we're going to go to pick a business structure. And in this section, it starts off with a little bit of background up in here and a link to another page that really goes into why this is an important choice for a market and what the ramifications can be of choosing different business structures. So if you want more of that background information, it's right in here. But if you want to get straight into what the different options are, we have 6 of the most common business structures listed out down here in this area. And each one has a little bit of background information up front to kind of help you orient yourself to what might make the most sense for your market. And then one last thing I want to point out down here is umbrella organizations. We know that a lot of farmers markets aren't actually their own freestanding business structures. They're part of a bigger organization. So if that's the case in your market, or you think you might want it to be, you can learn a little more about that down here. But let's actually go into the resource. I'm going to choose sole proprietorships because it's first. So when you get in here, you can see that across the top, we have each of those 6 business structures that were on the main landing page, arranged in tabs just for easier navigation. And then within each of those tabs, like sole proprietorship, we have these sub-tabs that tell you different aspects about that particular business structure. So for example, maybe you're interested in liability for a sole proprietorship. Click this tab, and then you can see a lot of information listed down here. And then some of these also have examples that give you, scenarios that might talk through some of the information that's given above. And if you want to compare different business structures to each other, sometimes it can be helpful to just if you're on liability, say, and you want to know how sole proprietorship liability is different from, for example, partnership liability, just click over to the other tab, and it'll start you on whatever sub-tab you were already on. So it's just kind of a quick and easy way to look from one place to another. So this is the section where you would go to look through and try to think about the issues that are important to deciding which business structure is the best for your market. Question 2. What are the requirements of being a 501c3 nonprofit? That's something we hear a lot too. That's a nonprofit charity, which is often a business structure that people think will be good for their markets. And for some it will, and for some it probably won't. But to learn more about what makes sense for your market, we'll start up here at nonprofits, because that's what it is. And you can look through a lot of issues that are common to nonprofits in this section. But 501c3 in particular is a tax designation. So we're going to look at taxation. And this starts off with some kind of basic tax information that applies to many nonprofits. And we'll get down here to tax exempt status, which is closer to what we want. 501c3 is a type of tax exempt status. And then down here we have a table that's adapted from a Farmers Market Coalition resource that gives a really quick basic overview of several different tax exempt designations and what those mean and how they compare to each other. So this would be a great place to start when you're thinking about, is 501c3 right for my market? Maybe a different designation would be, maybe none. And then if you look down, there's a lot more information here as well. So it gets into a lot more detail. And then all the way down here, we have another set of tabs that also goes into more detail about what the legal requirements are for these different designations. So this first tab is 501c3. That's the one you want to learn about if this is your question. And you can see down here, there are several different legal considerations. So this is something you'd want to look through and think about, does this describe what my market's doing? And is this something that makes sense to pursue? So let's see, question 3. Someone was injured at my market. What am I liable for? So this is the question nobody wants to have to ask, but here it is. That's not going to be a business structure question. So I'm just going to go back to the home page, kind of start over. And just to remember, you can navigate from this top menu here, but I'm going to do it the slower way that goes through the full website. So that's really talking about managing legal risks for your market. And the graphic here of the person falling and about to be hurt is a good indication that this is what we want. So we'll click through here. And the way that this section is organized is really talking about market risks and then also risk management tools. So there's a little intro to both of those ideas up in this section. And then as you scroll down, we've broken out sort of categories of different market risks down here. And then below that, different risk management tools that markets use to address those risks and mitigate them. So if somebody was injured at your market, you'd want to look up here, injuries to people and damage to property. And ideally, you would actually read this before someone is injured at your market. So in this section, there's an overview of what some of the risks are, how they can happen. This one has a particular example that actually happened in a market. And then at the bottom of this page, and of all of the market risk pages, are a set of tabs of risk management tools. And those are the same tools that were on the risk management kind of mini homepage. But the tabs at the bottom of the risk talk about how these tools apply specific specifically, to the risk that we're talking about. So in this case, it's injuries to people. So for example, if I look at record keeping, which is a risk management tool, here's some information in here about how it can be used. And then at the bottom, we also have links to several examples from other markets of how they use record keeping. And the risk management tools section of this website actually has a lot of examples from other markets, which we really recommend that people look at and just, get a sense of what's out there and what might be adaptable for your market. So I'm going to look over at insurance. There's a little bit more information. There's also a link to the Capital City Farmers Market case study, which I would recommend anybody look at if they're concerned about injuries to people. That's a story of a market in Vermont that had a slip and fall, and the market was sued afterwards. And it really goes through a lot of detail about what the market did to limit their liability, and then also the lessons they learned from that experience, which I think could be really helpful for other market managers. And then down at the bottom of each of these, we have a link to the main page on that risk management tool. So this link will take us to insurance. And this goes over insurance in general, not just as it relates to injuries. And there's a lot more information in here. So in general, if you're trying to learn more about insurance and what it does, how it can help you, I'll click here. We list out a lot of different insurance options, and these will talk about what they can protect you from and what they can't as well. There are just a lot of resources in there that help you think through, what it means if somebody does get injured at your market and what your market can do about it. So, question 4. Let's see. What are the legal implications of becoming a SNAP retailer? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the homepage again. So we know that this question is going to be about SNAP EBT. I'll go in there. And for those, if you're not familiar with those acronyms, SNAP or EBT, there is some more background information up here in these top buttons. And I will just say very briefly that SNAP is the Federal Nutrition Assistance Program. So it's what used to be called food stamps. So this whole section of the website is about helping markets understand if they want to be able to accept essentially food stamps, what they need to do, how it works, and what they need to consider as they're implementing that. And here are several different sections. So I'm going to start with becoming an authorized retailer because that's sort of the first issue you might face. And when you click through, you can see that these pages are organized similarly to the business structure pages, where we have a row of tabs across the top with lots of different topics, all within the realm of SNAP EBT. So, am I eligible? That's kind of the first question you'd probably ask if you're considering becoming a retailer. So there's some legal definitions in here, some more information about how a market becomes eligible. If you're interested, you might click How do I apply at the bottom. And this takes you to the next page, How do I apply? And then as you can see on the left-hand side here, there's another navigation menu. So within some of these higher level tabs, there are also multiple pages that you can navigate among. And then this one that's highlighted in gold, that just kind of tells you where you are in the site. So you can keep track of where you are within the topic of becoming an authorized retailer. So how do I apply? There's more information down here. We also have links in here to USDA's actual application. So if you do decide that it's the right thing for your market, you can just link right back to the USDA resources. And we've tried to do that in several places throughout the site to make sure that if you're ready to take the next step in something, that you're able to be connected to the resources that you would want for that. So if you're concerned about legal responsibility for SNAP, one thing you might be concerned about is enforcement and penalties. You can just click over to another tab. And this one is set up as a question and answer series, and there are several of those throughout the website as well. So if you're wondering what are potential penalties for SNAP violations, down here, you can click on that, and it'll take you right down to the answer to that question. So the more you explore through this section, the more you can learn, excuse me, what your legal responsibilities are for accepting SNAP. Back to top. And question number 5, what's my legal responsibility on outstanding SNAP tokens? So for markets that accept SNAP, oftentimes they do that using a token system where the market will pass out tokens to shoppers, and the shoppers use those to buy food, or, well, yeah, just to buy food from vendors. So if you wanted to know more about that, one thing you might be asking about is, what are the accounting liabilities of a token system? So you look up here in costs, accounting, and taxes, move to that tab, and then, oh, what do you know, the very second question, are outstanding tokens accounting liabilities? Click there. Yes, that's probably the most direct answer I'm going to give you in this whole webinar, so enjoy it. But there's a lot more information here on what that means and how to think through that. And I'm going to go up. And of course, if you are interested in implementing a token system, there's a lot more to consider than just if they're accounting liabilities. So maybe you'd want to learn more. Looking up here, equipment and payment is likely to have more information because tokens are a payment system for SNAP. And then from that tab, you can see again, there's this left-hand navigation that goes to different information. Those topics are also available in cards down here. Tokens are a kind of market currency system, so I'm going to click there to learn more. And there's a lot more information in here. And again, it's in a question and answer format. And these two are questions that we've heard from other farmers markets. And then over here on the right, you can see that it also links to a case study that talks about this very issue. So there's a case study of the Crescent City Farmers Market, which implements a token system. I'm actually going to click on it. And this is a place where, you know, especially if you've already read the kind of legal information, this is a good opportunity to look at how it really worked in practice and what the practicalities were of a market that's already done this. And here we have a photo of their actual tokens that they use, and a lot more information that they've learned from that experience, which sometimes can be the most helpful, we think. All right, that's it.
All right, so we have 2 minutes left, and we've gotten a couple questions from the audience. I think we have time to ask one of them, and I will ask this to Jen and Dar. The question is, do you have or can you direct us to resources on municipal and publicly operated markets? Jen and Dar, do you have an answer to that one? I think you guys might be muted.
Hi, yes. So if you go back to the website, Lilani, for a question like that, I would certainly, if you don't see, you know, a topic listed or within the pick a business structure section, what you're looking for listed, I would just go ahead and search it with the search tool. And in this case, if you do that within the legal toolkit, there's a little bit about what some municipalities require in terms of retail business licenses. But for the most part, if you're looking for a big list of information about municipally managed markets, that's probably going to live not on the legal toolkit. And you could check out pps.org, which is the Project for Public Spaces. They have some data and some case studies on public market districts and that type of thing. But that's a good, if you have a very specific thing that you don't see listed, I would encourage you to search it and see what information shows up on the site. Lilani, can we do one more?
I think we're going to have to stop right here at the top of the half hour so that we can have it recorded at the half hour. And we will send a follow-up email with answers to all of these. And some of our answers might be directing you to where on our website you can find this information, because a lot of the questions that we have received during the webinar can be answered with the toolkit. So we will follow up with you on that. I just want to make a couple of quick announcements that hopefully everybody can hear. We will have upcoming webinars and events, and we will post these on our website in the About the Toolkit section under events and webinars. So stay tuned for more on that. And if you need to contact us with any questions that you didn't get a chance to ask during the webinar, just click Contact Us, and we will get back to you as soon as we can on any of your questions. Lastly, there will be a really quick survey after the webinar ends. We'd love for you to take it. Give us any other feedback you have on this. And thank you for joining us. And thanks to Jen and Dar for being here too. And that is all for now. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Lilani.